All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our radio play. We are getting ready to film this on our Facebook Live for KMAS Radio. I guess it's not Facebook Live, but we'll put it on YouTube and Facebook as well. And then we're going to air this on Christmas. This is an original play written by Rachel Hansen here, and so a big thanks to her for putting this together. A big thanks to all our voice actors who are here. And now I'd like for you to all go around and introduce yourself and say the role that you're going to play, and then we're going to get things going.
My name's Ilana, and I'm playing Jenny.
I'm Gina, and I'm playing Ginny.
I'm Rich, and I'm playing Paul Bunyan.
I'm Jim, and I'll be Santa.
I'm Joel, and I will be your narrator for today.
Hi, I'm Will Stone. I will be playing Babe the Blue Ox.
Hi, I'm Fuzz, and I am Santa's lead reindeer, Comet.
My name is Tony, and I'm Brody, the father of Jenny and Jimmy.
My name is Scooter, and I'll be playing the cook's helper.
My name is Erin, and I'll be the cook.
I am ready. Here we go. Christmas Eve was a cold and wet day in Camp Grisdale, deep in the Wynoochee Woods. But inside the snug logging camp, Paul Bunyan and Babe the Blue Ox were as cozy as could be. Babe was settled happily in his brand new Christmas bed, a mound of soft hay and cedar boughs that filled Paul's doorway with the clean, sharp scent of the forest. Earlier that morning, Paul had taken several of the camp children with him, tramping deep into the woods in search of the perfect Christmas tree for the courtyard. And when Paul Bunyan looked for a tree, he found a tree. A giant Douglas fir, straight as a mast and twice as tall. Paul felled it with one tremendous swing of his double-headed axe. The children danced around it, singing carols, as he loaded the mighty tree onto Babe's broad shoulders and tied it snugly between the ox's great blue horns. Now Jimmy, bigger and bolder than the rest of the other children, whether from bravery or mischief no one quite knew, scrambled right up Babe's back and grabbed the rope like reins.
Jimmy, don't! You always fall.
Not this time. I'm riding this tree all the way home.
Jenny wasn't convinced. She'd seen her brother tumble off enough things to know better. On the way out of the woods, Paul spotted a graceful cedar with long, sweeping boughs. He trimmed off a few branches for decorating his doorway, and a great heap more for Babe's Christmas bed. When they reached the heart of the camp, Babe gave the frozen earth a mighty stomp. He then dug a deep hole for the trunk of the tree. Soon the whole camp gathered round to help decorate.
Hot maple cookies straight from the oven.
And some cocoa. Careful now, it's steaming.
They stood together, loggers, children, and Paul's giant blue companion, admiring the glowing tree as evening crept in. Just as the last cups of cocoa were drained, the first cold drops of rain began to fall.
Looks like it's going to be a rough night. Blizzard for sure. Make sure you've got firewood and candles, folks.
Jimmy's face tightened with worry.
But Dad, it's Christmas. What if Santa Claus can't make it?
The children all turned towards Paul, a mountain of a man silhouetted against the firelight.
Don't you fret now. Santa always makes it through. And if he runs into any trouble out there, well, Babe and I will be right there to help him.
The children cheered, hugged Babe's massive blue legs, and fed him the last crumbs of their maple cookies before scampering home to hang their stockings. As for Paul, he tossed 4 giant logs onto the fire, enough to last an ordinary man a week, and set about making himself a mountain-sized batch of pancakes. Little did they know, on that cold and stormy night, Santa Claus was about to need their help more than ever. Night fell fast and dark on Christmas Eve as a fierce storm rolled through the Wynoochee Woods. Snow whipped sideways. Winds howled. Every cabin window rattled in Camp Grisdale. But inside Paul Bunyan's lodge, the fire roared warm and steady. Paul flipped flapjacks the size of sleds while Babe snored contentedly on his cedar bough bed.
Daddy, what was that? What was that?
Kids, stay back. What in blazes?
That came up from the canal and in the Olympics, near Mount Eleanor.
Paul stepped out into the swirling dark. He lifted his hand to shade his eyes as a streak of red light flicked across the clouds.
That wasn't thunder. That was a sled. A big one.
Santa?
A third flash lit the sky, bright as a sunrise, and then vanished behind the black outline of Mount Eleanor.
Babe, saddle up your courage, boy. We've got to work to do.
Paul, the storm's too rough. No one can get across the Hood Canal tonight.
Maybe no one ordinary, but I ain't ordinary, and Babe sure ain't.
The giant lumberjack swung his axe over one shoulder.
Kids, keep the fire lit. We'll bring Santa home safe.
Please, Paul, hurry.
Paul and Babe trudged through knee-deep snow across the forest to the edge of Hood Canal. The storm had frozen it over, but not solid enough for a giant and a blue ox.
Ice is too thin, Babe. We'll have to make our own bridge.
Paul chopped down towering firs and lashed them together into a raft of logs.
All right, Babe, give it a push.
The logs ground and scraped as the wind shoved them across the frozen canal. When the ice grew too thick, Paul smashed it open with his axe. When the ice grew too thin, Babe stomped new frozen patches into the ice. And so, through storm, cold, and roaring wind, the two crossed Hood Canal before dawn. The wind cut like knives as they crossed Big Creek. By the first light, they reached the upper foot of Mount Eleanor. Snow blinded the path, but a trail of glittering red sparks led upward.
Santa's magic. We're close, Babe.
Up and up they climbed. When cliffs rose sheer, Paul dug handholds with single swipes of his axe. When the path narrowed, Babe braced himself so Paul could walk across his broad blue back. And finally, they reached a sheltered hollow in the mountainside where the damaged sleigh lay half buried in the snow.
Oh, is someone there?
Santa Claus himself sat beside the wreck, brushing snow from his red coat.
Santa, are you all right?
Paul Bunyan. And Babe, bless my whiskers, am I glad to see you.
But as Paul approached, he saw another figure lying in the snow.
Comet!
I'm all right. Mostly. Legs just bent wrong.
He took the worst of the crash. Without Comet, I can't guide the team tonight.
Then you're in luck. Babe's here, got more strength than 10 reindeer.
Strength, yes. But to guide my sleigh, I'll need something more. Paul, I'm glad you are here. Help me lift Comet onto the sleigh. Carefully now.
Thank you.
Now then, Babe, my brave blue friend, step forward. You have a pure heart, loyal and steady, with a touch of Christmas magic. Well, you could lead the sleigh yourself.
Santa reached into the air and picked a handful of shimmering northern lights from the sky. He poured the glow over Babe's shoulders. Babe's hoofs lifted from the snow. His horns sparkled like stars. His blue hide shimmered like winter sunrise.
Well, I'll be a flying blue ox.
Ho, ho, ho. Babe, let's see what you can do. Oh, babe, let us through the storm.
Through blizzards, through forests, over oceans, Babe flew. He soared higher than the clouds, pulling the sleigh smooth and sure, Comet resting safely inside. Across the world they traveled, Babe's blue hide glowing so brightly that children peeking from windows swore they saw the sky had turned to sapphire. Santa delivered each toy with joyful precision.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas. And thank you, Babe.
At last, they reached the North Pole. The elves rushed out to care for Comet.
Good luck, Babe. Finish strong for me.
Only one stop left, my friend. Camp Grisdale is waiting.
As the first gold light rose over the Wynoochee Woods, the sleigh dipped gracefully into Camp Grisdale. Children burst from their cabins in pajamas and boots.
It's Santa, and Babe's flying.
Babe, you did it. You really did it.
Welcome home, partner.
Paul, I can't thank you enough. Without you and Babe, the world would have woken up to empty stockings.
Always happy to lend a hand, Santa.
And now, I believe these children have been waiting patiently.
Santa sat on a stump draped in snow. The children gathered around. Jimmy, Ginny, and all the little ones from Camp Grisdale.
Ho, ho, ho. Merry Christmas, my friends. Now let's see. Who's been good this year?
We have!
I thought so, and I have just the thing.
He gave toys, books, warm mittens, and candles sweeter than maple cookies. Even Cook received a shiny new set of giant baking pans, big enough for Paul's pancakes.
Thank you, Santa. I'll put him to work by noon.
Babe, it's time to return your magic.
The glow faded from Babe's horns and hide, but his eyes shone with pride.
Your courage lit the sky tonight. I'll never forget it.
Neither will we.
Farewell, Camp Grisdale, and Merry Christmas to all.
The storm had passed. Sunlight danced off every snowy rooftop, and in the center of Camp Grisdale stood the great Douglas fir, sparkling with ornaments, ribbons, and joy. Paul brushed Babe's side affectionately.
You did the impossible last night, old friend. Thank you.
And from that Christmas on, Whenever a blue shimmer lit the winter sky, the children of Camp Grisdale would whisper,
It's Babe. He's remembering how to fly.
and Paul Bunyan would smile and toss another log on the fire. Merry Christmas from Camp Grisdale to you.
Once again, everybody, a big hand to our radio voice actors.